Hi guys, those of you still here, please take a seat. You wanna? By the way, do we still have English speaking in the audience, or non-Hebrew speakers? Okay, so we'll carry the talk. Well, we'll carry the talk in English. I saw at least one hand being raised there. Nir Miretsky, please have a seat. Okay, תושיב אותם גם. Okay, hi everyone. Glad to have you with us on stage. What we're going to do right now is, after we talked about publishing on Android and stuff like analytics that big companies like Plarium are doing, we wanted to investigate like the other side of the equation. And I'm glad to have all of you here with me. So the focus of this talk is Israeli, indie, and PC digital distribution. So we have all these elements right here on stage. But I'd like to start with, each of you just give us a few words about what you're doing, what your game is like. We'll start with you, Tomer. Judgment.
Hi.
It's working. Can you? No.
Okay, this one works. Hi, I'm Tomer. I'm the founder of Suncrash. We're a small 3-person team, and we're working on Judgment. It's a survival management game. We've been on Steam for 1.5 years in early access, and plan to do a full release in 2 months or so.
Hi, I'm Alon. I'm the director of the team called Biohex Games. We are creating the game Mod War. Mod War is a real-time strategy game for PC. It's about modular creatures living in an alien sea world. We're working on the game for the last 2 years in our free time, and we're now establishing a company to develop it further.
Nice picture. I'm Shai. I'm one of the co-founders of Gavra Games. We do Warriors Rise to Glory. It's a turn-based strategy game of 2 gladiators in an arena, as you can see. Very funny, not taking itself too serious, making fun of the genre. Gonna be released pretty soon for Steam Early Access.
Last but not least, Avi.
Hi, I'm Avi. I'm from Duststorm Entertainment. We are working on real-time strategy out here, general command and conquer style. And to sum it up, it's General Stew meets League of Legends. We want to wrap it up in a mobile ecosystem.
All right, so as it happened, all of these games happen to be strategy or tactic games. We have other indie developed games in Israel, but I do see a real tendency for Israelis to go in the route of strategy or tactics. So I'd like your opinion first. Why do you think it happens? Why do Israelis are attracted to this genre when they're developing a game? Anyone?
The stereotypic answer will be because we're Jews and we love to use our mind, our heads. It's hard to say why most of the Israeli indie companies are going for strategy. I think this is like a genre that I personally really liked, so it was natural for me to go to this. And our game is basically inspired by an old Flash game called Swords and Sandals, which I really liked. And I think the main idea that each of the indie companies are doing this is because we have great passion for this. We love doing this sort of game. So instinctively, you will go for what you love to do. And Jews love strategy.
Any other ideas?
Well, for us it was the formula itself of the RTS, that it's captivating and it's competitive by nature, and this is something we feel have a market all over the place. If you wrap it up nicely and do a good work about the gameplay, you have a solid base to move forward.
Right. Actually, you directly manage CNC Generals as an influence, right? So maybe I'm overthinking it, but considering the age group, I think that all of you played, same as I played, games in the 90s, right? And maybe it's related to strategy games becoming more popular in the 90s, and that's the kinds of game we played, so that's what you wanted to make when you grow up. Is that an option? Did you think about strategy games from early on, or is it just recent years?
Well, for me it was something I grew up playing. It was the main thing I was doing as a kid. It was an amazing experience, and I remember how addictive it is. So we want to recreate it in a modern atmosphere.
It's definitely my favorite genre, and that's why we chose to do it. And I think for indies, it's very important that you do what you love and not where the money is, because it's a small team and you work without any funding, and if you don't do what you love, you'll probably won't finish your product.
Okay, any other answers? Or? Okay, also...
Yeah, well, everything that just was said, I think just strategy game is very challenging, and we love challenges, and I think that's about it. Because we wanted to make, everyone here want to make games that are not just another mobile game, and we want to go to PC, and I think that's part of where it comes from, to do what we love, as Tomer said.
Okay, so okay, it's a good thing that you mentioned PC games, because that was my next point. All of you are deciding to tackle the PC game ecosystem, which is something that most established companies in Israel aren't doing. Most Israeli companies, they rose on the trends of social and then mobile games. Most of them are doing free-to-play. Most of you guys on PC are doing premium, but Avi, your game is going to be free-to-play. So I'd like to hear from all of you why you chose that approach, PC and premium or PC and free-to-play.
Same answer, that's what I love.
Yeah, so first of all, we went to PC, of course, because that's what we grew on, and that's the games market that we love the most, and also for a real-time strategy, we believe that this is where the user base is, and we don't think that if we go for mobile, we'll have the same, the people that will want to play this. And also it's a very complicated game, so we don't see how we can implement it to be used in the same way for mobile. Consoles might be an option, but it's still an option, but it is also not the same gameplay. Regarding free-to-play, we did think about it. We have a few ideas of how to implement later on free-to-play, but it's not as the core game. The core game is still a premium model. Yeah, and we think about DLCs and all kind of stuff like that as the more expansioning.
Any other?
Well, we tried going for mobile. Our first game was Airspace Defender. It was like a Canon shooter, and we understood that it's not that easy to get visibility on the iOS and Google Play. Nowadays, it's really hard for gamers to see your game instead of 1,000 other games who are coming out every day. So you need to come with a big publishing strategy, let's say. If you're gonna publish your game as good as it might be, you won't be managed to break the wall. There's like an invisible wall that unless you come with big funds and you use user acquisition, you have a publisher, someone who back you up, great marketing, you won't be able to make it like as a big hit. There's one in a million that maybe does that, but you won't be that one. So our strategy was first get some user base. On PC you have much less competition. And going for premium, because this is each user is different. The PC user and the mobile user are completely different, and people need to understand that. So I think they prefer to pay and get all the features, everything, instead of like having a pay-to-win system, basically.
All right. So, Avi, you want to add anything?
Yeah, for us, free-to-play was basically driven from the formula itself, because we believe RTS is alive and interesting for player when it's multiplayer and a live multiplayer with a lot of players. And this is reason one. The reason two is we're all creative people here, and we want to create something that people will use and share, and that experience that we are creating. And this is the way to go to get to bigger masses for us. Beside that, in terms of purely business side, if you want to create a prolonged kind of thing that lives for long years, you have to get support along the way, and not just in advance, unless you're a AAA company that can charge $60 for a game.
So essentially you're saying that, first of all, it's love, right? But as it happens, you all make different kinds of strategy games, and you see that these models work on the PC, right? Both free-to-play and premium, depending on the game that you're making, and that's why you all decided to go and make the game on the PC, if I understand correctly. So I want to follow up on that question, because Shai, you said that on mobile it's really, really hard to get noticed, right? Today on the PC, let's say Steam, right? Because Steam is the de facto platform for PC distribution, especially if you're an indie developer. And you now hear a rising trend among people to call the indie-pocalypse, or say that it's becoming harder and harder to get yourself noticed on the PC. It's becoming more like the mobile market, more saturated. What are your thoughts, and what approach are you going to take or already took in order to get noticed?
Yeah, well, for us it's kind of hard to know the consequences of what's happening now with Steam. If anyone doesn't know, Greenlight is off, and now basically anyone can just upload his game, just pay $100 fee, and you'll be up. They say it might turn up like the iOS and Google Play, that it's the same approach, and it will really be hard for indie to be noticed. We started like consulting with a lot of PR about this, how we can make our game more visible, how we can get the attention. I think basically it depends on the game itself. So if you have a good product and people will enjoy the game, this is how pretty much Steam works. All of this is wishful thinking. Yeah, I still haven't encountered it myself. Tomer has.
So far, from our experience, when Steam opened the Steam Direct and removed Greenlight, we didn't feel any reduction in sales or visits to our page, so we didn't lose any visibility. It stayed exactly the same. Also, we need to put things into proportion. Steam is not the App Store. App Store has hundreds, if not thousands, of games released every day, and Steam, even now, just after they released the Steam Direct, when everyone that was waiting for Greenlight now suddenly can release their game, still we're talking about no more than 2 digits per day. So that's like 100 times more in the App Stores. Steam is not mobile. They have 130, 140 million users, and mobile has 2 billion.
So the people who say there's an indie-pocalypse on the PC have no idea about the numbers on the mobile, how tougher the competition still is over there.
I'm just saying that still we're not seeing the volume of new games that they are on mobile, and I don't think we will see that, because most of those games are very minimal casual games, and those are targeting the audience that plays mobile, not the audience that plays on Steam. So I don't believe it will change too much. It is getting harder, but it's already got harder like 1 or 2 years ago when Steam started approving 250 games per week on Greenlight. I mean, I don't believe Steam Direct will be much more than that. And Steam has a great algorithm, store algorithm to recommend games to players. That's something surprisingly even Google doesn't do. They have some algorithms to recommend to you games that are similar to other games you've played, but Steam do it better from what I see. And they can recommend to a player exactly the games that are not just the games that are tailored for him, but also good games. So they quickly, the bad games quickly go down and disappear, and the algorithm stops recommending them, and the good games keep getting recommended for a long time.
I think that Google started doing that, but there is only one specific section in a Play Store that says recommendations based on the games you already play. And the difference is that in Steam, that's in the storefront, that's everywhere, and in Google, it's just a very small section. So you're essentially saying, based on the numbers you already see for your game, which is in early access, you say that your game will get noticed with the right audience if your game is good. Because Steam recommends usually good games or new games.
I'm saying, first of all, Steam is not as bad as mobile in terms of visibility and getting lost. And also that it's not harder than it was 1 or 2 years ago. It's still hard. I didn't say it's not hard. You have to do some of your own marketing. You have to contact YouTubers and influencers or press and get your game noticed. Otherwise, Steam won't have enough information to recommend your game. You need a starting investment or starting user base in order for Steam to recommend you more. And then they take it on from there, and it's like a snowball effect. If you do good at the beginning, then Steam will push you even farther. If you don't do well, then you can get lost.
So start good. Any other comments on that? Huh?
Well, for us, in the go-to-market plan, Steam is just another channel of distribution. Because we're doing free-to-play, it's going to be on our own server. We want people to go there and not purchase anything from Steam. Obviously, it's going to be an option. Maybe some sort of pre-order bundle of all first content that we're going to release. But we're not solely dependent on that. Aside from that, I think I read that the number of games that are succeeding today is pretty similar, but the percentage is lower because you have much more game released.
Greenlight was very nice. It was a stepping stone. We didn't manage to use it, so we actually planned to use it, and just before we did it, it ended. And yeah, I think it's still early to know right now how will it affect Steam. Like we need more time to see if it will bring a lot of junk games or things like that, but I think it's still early. Like it's only beginning of that stage.
So you mentioned Greenlight, and Tomer earlier you mentioned influencers. For those of you who don't know, influencers is a marketing term for people who influence opinion, usually YouTubers or people who stream on Twitch. They're not like game reviewers, they're not professional reviewers, but they actually play your game, and that's how it's exposed to other potential audience. So there are numerous ways to get noticed, and I was wondering, what's your strategy? What kind of things you're trying to do, and if you can recommend anything that was proven effective from your past already.
Okay, I will start. First of all, I believe this is the future of marketing. Like it's not the future; it's already now. Like most of or a lot of the users get to know your game from all of the Twitch and YouTube and streaming, and Facebook Live, and what we're doing now, we're not doing it as a regular thing as maintenance. We're just like keep getting to know more YouTubers and Twitchers and like making our own database of that, and whenever we have like an important update or release, then we will use that force. I think it's important to use it as a one-time together strategy.
We are not in the marketing phase yet, but our community support us in an amazing way. We have a couple of streamers there who represent us regularly to their communities, and therefore get a lot of good feedback, and obviously we're going to pursue that path when we go to market.
For visibility, mainly YouTube, also press to a lesser degree. They have less impact, from my experience at least, than YouTubers do on sales. In terms of engagement, like getting people to really like and connect to the game, Twitch works great, and of course Facebook, Twitter, talk to your fans, Steam forums. I know some people here use, what's it called? Discord, yeah, Discord. Yeah, so those are for engagement, and it's for visibility. I think what works best is YouTube and press, the big websites.
Yeah, I agree with everything these guys said. One thing I would add is also try to understand like the trends that are happening today and try to implement them in a game. Try to make something special in your game, that the press will take interest in your game, that YouTubers and Twitchers will take interest in your game, and not just another boring gameplay or match 3, something like that. Something that it will be really unique.
So it's actually affecting your design decisions. You're saying I'm going to design the game in a way that is good for streaming or good for video consumption.
I can say for us that definitely yes. Right from day one, we try to think as much of things to make the game go viral and implement it inside the game itself, inside the gameplay. That's pretty much, and it works. Like already YouTubers are covering our game, and they love it, they love playing it. It has something special, and this is why they keep on filming themselves and uploading it.
Is it the same for everyone else, or some of you are saying, I just designed the game as it is, and if it's good, it will pick up?
We didn't do that, and that is one of the lessons learned for our next game.
We are definitely doing it. All the voiceover is driven from contemporary slang and things that are happening now.
I can just say that we have that in mind. Yeah, it's all the time a test that we can do to see how is the gameplay can be watched by other players, and if it's fun to you to watch.
Okay. You're asking if they're paying already? Are you paying anyone for, you know? But I don't think anyone is already there. But by the way, there are now emerging companies doing influencer marketing. There are specific companies that are not doing regular marketing anymore. They just have a big database of YouTubers. They're paying them. They aggregate. And you can say, hey, I'm doing this and that game. I want to reach audience in these countries. I have a package. And instead of ads, you get exposure to YouTubers and streamers.
Right now, we've been in Gamescom conference in Cologne, and we met with like a Turkish company that does exactly what Guy just said. So I don't know about the big YouTubers, but they said they have like 3 or 4 influencers with 300K viewers and subs and stuff like that. So, and they told us it's approximately $2,000 for 3 videos or something like that, like very basic stuff. So I don't know about the big YouTubers, how much they charge, but also I think it's also depends on the game itself.
From what I've learned, the community of YouTubers can drive them to play your game and stream it for free. and this is what we're aiming, creating a great product that the community will demand their favorite streamers to play. And we saw that happening in a guy playing the actual CNC General game, and the open discussion there about our game just drove him to download it and stream it at the same time. It was amazing to watch, and people tagged us and called us, and this is where we're going.
Okay, I want to switch to a slightly different question or set of questions. Money, right? Usually for people in this field, there are other opportunities to work on a salaried income, either as a developer, a programmer, or in the creative industry if you're an artist. And indie is hard because you get no tangible income until a very late stage. So how did you guys manage that? Did you save up money up front? Did you get married to a rich spouse? Are you working part-time to sustain yourself? What exactly are you doing?
Well, myself, I'm an advertising professional. I still do advertising work twice, 3 times a week, according to what I can give. And nights, and obviously the rest of the time, I develop the game. Beside that, most of our team is self-sufficient. The work they provide for themselves. Nobody is getting paid at the moment, but still we have, at maximum, we were over 20 guys working on the game. Right now we have 15. So I think it's about what you're creating that drives the people to stay, even though there's no money there yet.
By the way, you can ignore the time limit.
I worked part-time for the first year of development while my partner worked full-time on the game, so it was my paycheck. I paid his paycheck and plus savings from before because worked 7 years as a programmer in a technology firm. So
for us it was exactly the opposite. We started full-time. Then we realized that we're out of money and we need to live somehow. Then we started working part-time, which turned out really great for us because the place we worked there, they invested in us. They invested in our game because they saw the potential, they saw how committed we are to it, and they believed in us and in our project, and then they invested in it. So no rich spouse or whatever.
But you're saying like some other kind of sugar daddy, right? You find a place that pays you money for your regular work and also invests in your game. Okay.
That's amazing. Yeah, we just work on the game on our free time. Yeah, that's for now. Managed to survive.
Okay. So outside of money, what do you think is the hardest for you as an indie developer? Like, what was the skill that you realized you're not proficient in enough? And what is lacking in the Israeli ecosystem the most when you're looking for partners or people to collaborate with?
both are actually 3 different questions with different answers.
Start with the first one.
The hardest thing is making a good game. And it's the most basic thing. Marketing is important and monetization if you do a free-to-play game, and everything's important, but if you don't have a good game as a base to start with, a game that people like and enjoy playing, then you probably won't succeed with the other ones, and that's the hardest part. The thing that I wasn't proficient in, and I still am not very proficient in, and no one in our team is, mostly marketing, and that's also something that's very hard to find for me. Was very hard to find when I was searching in the Israeli ecosystem. There are marketing guys in the game business that I've met, but they all, their expertise and their experiences in mobile games, free to play, which is very different than marketing and promoting a Steam game. And I haven't found anyone in Israel that has any experience promoting a PC game.
For us, it was our breaking point. We had a couple, obviously. It's a long road, and one of them I remember was Gamescom last year, when we came with our game and we were sure that it's a big hit. We were so in love with it, and then all the publishers we met were like, "This game looks like shit. This is shit. Why are you even wasting my time showing me this game?" And I was like, "Yeah, but we worked really hard on it, and we were only 2 people, and we did this," and they don't care about any of the excuses. And I think this was a very important lesson for us. The gamers themselves, they don't care about excuses, how many people are in the team, what it took from you, how much you had to sacrifice. At the end of the day, your game, there are a lot of good games out there. They look really good. They are very fun to play. And unless you can match these standards, your game won't be successful, I think.
So like saying, haven't the Jewish people suffered enough? Nobody buys that anymore.
Exactly. Haven't we suffered enough? And as for, we don't get any help. It's like, it's all on us. The indie development teams here, everyone, I guess, we don't get any help from the country government or anything like that. Nothing is, of course GameIS helps, but it's not governmental. Thank God we have GameIS to promote us like this. Woo, GameIS!
Round of applause.
I just wished that the government itself would also give some funds to gaming, and this is something that we can't deny that there isn't.
There's some update on that with the
Except Jerusalem.
Right.
We love Jerusalem.
Well, the hardest thing is for us, we are a virtual studio. It's obviously communication, different languages, different time zones, different trades. It's all a really big mess, and I'm the one to make some sort of sense of it. So this was really hard.
How spread out are you? You have like US West Coast? Do you have people in the Far East?
We start on the east from Indonesia, and West Coast, East Coast, Mexico, Canada, during couple in Europe in the middle. We are spread all over the place. The other thing that was really hard for me, I have no game development background. I'm just doing this for 2.5 years now. Started on my own with some idea, and I had no idea how hard it was. I come from advertising production. It was a strict pipeline with a lot of tasks, like thousands of tasks a month. And this is much, much, much harder. It's overwhelming.
I think one of the hardest things for us, for our team, was to find the team, to find the right people to work with, and also to keep going all the time with the right people, or if like, because we're working in a free time, so all the time you have people that stopped working with us, and to find new people and to keep going and to write things from scratch again, and yeah, to manage keeping the development alive.
Okay. I'll have 2 more questions before we switch to questions from the audience. The first one is about, we saw talk about analytics earlier, which is very important in the free-to-play market where nobody pays upfront and you want to see what kind of users you're accumulating in your game. But especially for those of you who are doing premium games, how important are analytics for you? Do you implement them in your game? Do you care about that? Or is it like the user purchased the game already and that's it?
So we don't have so much analytics yet in our current version, but what we are trying to figure out all the time for anyone that is trying the game is to analyze who is our users who want to play these kind of games, and because this is something that is really important for us to go to for investors, to tell them who is our actually market. So this is something that we're investigating and asking everyone that is trying our game.
Yeah, you're free to play, so. Yeah, we use analytics. It's important as well for premium games. It's for different reasons than free to play, because you don't need to test monetization so much, but retention is important as well, because if people start playing the game after 1 hour or when they reach a certain step in the tutorial, then that's something we should know. Maybe it's too difficult, maybe something there is stopping their progress and they quit the game. And so it's important for us to make the game better, not to sell it better, but to make it better, the game. So that's what we use analytics for.
He has the most experience with analytics. Like for us, it's mainly to see where the players come from and to check certain events. We record everything. We just don't know how to analyze it yet. But it's there.
But it's there.
But
so
it's there. Yeah.
When you get
we know. Let's say we saw that after 10 minutes, a lot of players stopped playing our game, and we realized that there came a boring point in our game. So we did like extra measures to counter that. Let's say.
You're definitely doing analytics then. That's
we're doing it, but I don't say that I'm a major analytic whatever. I'm very basic stuff.
Right. So the next question is for those of you who are doing multiplayer games, right? So I guess that the holy grail of multiplayer is to become an esports, right? There's a lot of added value for that. For those of you who were yesterday, there was an esports meetup talking about competitive games and how big of an audience that can generate and the revenues it can generate. So how those of you who are doing multiplayer tackling that point, if you're even doing that at all, or maybe you're keeping that for a later stage.
Okay, Avi, start.
Question, please.
So what exactly are you doing to
Esports.
tackle esports?
Yeah.
What is your approach?
Well, for us, the game formula is competitive by nature. We wanna, in the actual go-to-market, wrap it up as an esport, not event, let's say, but an esport broadcast with commentator and analytics on screen, and use that kind of competitive nature of the game to deliver short clips of interesting content to our users.
Okay, we plan to do multiplayer. We are not there yet. I think when we will get to that point, we will put in our design a lot of thought about how to make this esport event special, like to add more value that is not something that you see in any game. Maybe, I don't know yet what will be our ideas, but it will be a brainstorming about what will make this game stand out as an esport.
But you're specifically also doing single player experience, right?
For now,
Your game.
yeah.
Shai, anything to add?
For us, it's something that you know because you connected us with Mike from Amazon about they have like an API that connects inside your game. First of all, our game is built to be a multiplayer game. You can play one against the other. And the whole point of it is that the audience can also influence the fight itself. So this is something that is very logic for us to put because we also have a crowd and make the crowd be, the viewers be a part of the Twitcher, the experience of him playing. So this is something that we are definitely looking into, and it will be there when we'll start implementing the multiplayer.
Okay, so I should take a commission then. I didn't know you had anything going there.
No, don't record this. No, I didn't say that.
Okay, so that was it for me, but I'd like to give the audience a chance to ask you a few questions. We have first one here. אפשר לכבות את הטיימר בינתיים על זה.
You were talking about viral events within the game to get streamers to showcase your game, to draw audience. Can you give some examples for those events, for those things, those interesting viral things that you think that can hook audiences?
Yeah, for us it was, some were like, let's say trends, let's say if your character dies, so it becomes like there's a lot of memes that the wasted memes from GTA, only with a sad violin, that's like this. So This is one joke. The other one is like the character. If you want to humiliate your opponent, you just fart on his head. That's for us. YouTuber seems to love this joke. What we learned that it's ממצה את עצמו. It returns on itself, whatever. So you always need to be new things. We have an arrow to the knee, like Skyrim, and a lot of trends. Think of what people like, the dubs. The dubs, we are thinking about implementing this in our game. That players will say, oh, I made him do this, so or Thug Life. Anything that comes to mind, you need to be creative about it. I don't know, it's not something specific that I can pinpoint. So you need to stay in the loop to know what is viral now.
Start with the basic, which is customization, because YouTubers and streamers, they love to change the character names and appearance to be similar to that of their audience. That's the most basic, and then whatever people like watching, humor, like Shai's example, tension as well can be a good example, like moments of tension. Anything basically that people like to watch can be relevant.
Well, our crowd is sort of more hardcore. We don't go on the funny side on gameplay or gameplay elements, but we do kind of light it up in terms of voiceover acting and keep it fresh and interesting. And obviously in the future, more and more options for customization for voiceovers and funny stuff like that, and obviously skins that are not related to gameplay.
The Worms approach.
Okay, any other questions from the audience?
Can you tell me, please, more about how you get partners for your projects?
Partner like to work with us?
Yes, modelers, programmers, how did you found them? Where?
I didn't know I had it, but for me it was just amazing response. I use analytics on my success rate in recruiting people, and it's good. And I'm optimizing the funnel. I'm rearranging the opening lines and what I present and how I present it to get people hyped about my project. And this is sort of training for elevator pitch and stuff like that, because you get an immediate response from someone which is relevant.
For me, it was rather easy because the guy I'm working with, my partner, I knew him from before. But I think it starts with having something to show, not just an idea. Having something to contribute yourself, of course. So if you come with a good idea and something to contribute to a potential partner, then there's a good chance that he will, if it's something that interests him, that he would like to join, or her. The harder part is finding the right person, and I think that's mostly getting to know people, coming to meetups, coming to places like this, all the GameIS events that they organize, meet people, get to know them, and then find someone that you want to work with.
Community.
Yeah.
Oh, just said community, right?
Yeah, have a community, and just like Tomer said, and this is what I wanted to say, like go to conferences like this one, GameIS, stay in the loop, check the Facebook page. They always do some event that you can attend. Everyone from the industry are there, and this is a great place to meet either programmers, designers, investors sometimes. And get to know people from the industry, because right now something really good is happening in the industry. There are a lot of really talented people working with a lot of passion, and we're starting to build some sort of yeah, there is a good momentum of the industry. It's growing. I don't know to say as never before, because I haven't been here before, but there are a lot of definitely good people and good products coming out from Israel. Hopefully to see more.
Also, yeah, everything that's been said here, events is great and GameIS is great. And for us, we started as a group of 4 friends that we just wanted to make games together, but later on we need to find more people, so we met people in the events, and also there's a few Facebook groups that are special for specific roles that you're looking for. For example, if you're looking for animators and 3D people, and there's like groups for that specifically in Israel for that it's really easy to find people there. Yeah.
I want to add something. We are using Discord as our office. We have our own server, but there are a lot of groups there of developers that are really like interested in helping other indie developers. Don't want to hurt anybody, but you don't see that a lot in Israel. If you can communicate in English, it's much easier.
Okay, any other questions from the audience before we wrap up? Okay, that's it. Any of you guys want to add anything else? Just any last suggestion or something, or are you all good?
I don't know. If you have any question, any thoughts.
Yeah, feel free to bother them personally
Yes,
afterwards, of course.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is just do it. Like Shia LaBeouf said, do it. Like first start, make mistakes, learn from them. If you really want to make games, that's the only way. Just do it and make mistakes and learn along the way.
Okay, so thank you very much. A round of applause for all the panel participants. And for the games that are already out on early access, we accept each and every one of you to go out and buy them and support the Israeli industry. I should have put a Sabir stand outside because that would have been a good monetization. So we wrap everything up. We would like to thank all of you who stayed with us, throughout the entire thing. And I guess we'll see you on the next event. What's the next event? Is there a next event planned already? The unconference, I guess, but no planned date yet. Gaming, right? In the Sukkot. Some of you will be presenting in gaming as well, right? So for those of you who don't know, gaming is a community-facing event, not developers, but actually gamers. It will take place in the Ganei HaTa'arucha, Miretsky, Ganei HaTa'arucha this Sukkot. So have a look and see you around. Thank you very much.